created to just make you want to stay in your comfort zone. If you don't start, you can never achieve anything. The worst that can happen when you start is that you fail. And you only fail when you accept defeat, right? I'll give you an example. In 2013, then I was still in Samsung, and I wanted to start my business. Then I was still working. And it wasn't what it is now. I just wanted to start something, and I wanted to start a farm. So I'd spoken to my parents, because somebody had told me about agriculture and getting land. So I spoke to my parents, typical African parents. They were really very happy that, I was thinking of getting land in my village. I'm from Edo State, Edo North to be, Auchi to be specific. So my dad, before I just spoke to him, just asked the question, what would it take for me to get land in the village? And he asked what I would like to do with it. I said, oh, well, I'm thinking of, going into agriculture and setting up a farm. I just had that conversation with him. 2 weeks later, he called me and said, okay, is this your uncle? They've gotten the land for you. So he actually pushed me into, I hadn't really thought about it. I got the land before I started speaking to friends. So I had this colleague, we're both managers then at Samsung, and he had done analysis. He wanted to do plantain farming in Ogun State. He has spoken to a consultant. They've given him the numbers. He was still looking at the numbers, right? And he gave me the contact of that consultant. I reached out to the consultant. We agreed on a price. We traveled to the village like 2 months later. We started farming. That friend in 2014, right? This is May. December last year, I visited him. He has not started. But he was the one that introduced me to the consultant that helped me to set up my farm. We've gone ahead to set up that farm, failed a couple of times, moved from farming to refining into tea, moved from that to getting NAFDAC, moved from getting NAFDAC to having our products in over 1,000 outlets. My friend has not started. He's still analyzing. I have nothing against him. There's nothing, he's in paid employment. There's nothing wrong in paid employment. But the truth is, the dream would never happen if you don't start. It might sound very simple, just one word, but this is the most important of everything. Just taking that first step. Your first step will most likely not be the one that will make you succeed. Your first step will most likely be the mistake that you will learn from that will take you to the next step. But if you don't take it, you will not make that mistake and you will never move forward. Next slide, please. So the next thing is to be sure that what you are doing is solving a problem profitably. The key to building a business that can scale and move to the next level is that it solves a problem. And you must know that problem. For you to have a business that is scalable, you must know the problem that you are solving. You must know the people that you are solving it for. You must know the numbers and know how you solve it in such a way that you don't run at a loss. Some people are running businesses, money is coming in, and they think that they are making money, but they are running at a loss. Why? Because cost of business is even higher. So let me go back again to makeup or hair business. You buy hair for, let's say you are buying and selling. You buy for 100 naira, you are selling for 200 naira. In your mind, you are making 100 naira margins. But you've not included things like transportation, internet, your time, and at the end of the day, you might have cash flow, right? Revenue is coming in. But when you look at the numbers properly, you might see that you are running at a loss. So you need to sit down, if you have to, whatever you need to do, to find out if all that you are doing is happening at a positive, from a positive side of you. It doesn't mean that you must be positive from the beginning. At the beginning, you might even be running it from a negative point of view. So you are executing, you are solving problems, you are running it, but you are not profitable. But you understand the reason why you are not profitable, and you know how to move from loss to profit. Understand me now, that you are running a business today and it is in negative does not mean that it is wrong. It is only wrong when you don't know and you are living in a bubble. But if you know, and you know what you need to do to move from negative to positive, then you are on the right path. But you must make sure that that problem that you are solving, right, in the long run, you'll be able to solve it in such a way that it will be profitable. It might be negative, it might not be profitable now, but you see the straight line, the true path to moving from loss to profit. That is the key to having a sustainable business. Next slide. The third is for you to strive for product market fit. Now you've started, you know that it can be profitable, but I don't know of any businesses that have gone to market with the first product and they succeed. That's why I always speak against people that overanalyze. You cannot get it right the first time. It's not possible. If you look at one of the most popular things today, the iPhone keeps bringing out new versions because there's always something to improve. Imagine if they had waited till they got the technology for iPhone 13. There'll be nothing here today. I use myself as an example. The first tea that my company produces herbal tea, and we also produce baby food. I used to tell people that the first variant, the first product that we took to market, honestly speaking, even if they give you to use for sacrifice today, you would reject it. It was horrible. The packaging was rubbish. What we have today is like the 10th variation. That aside, in 2020, we got NAFDAC to start producing baby food. That we had even done a lot of research. We had focus group, 200 mothers, finding out what mothers wanted when they, then we had a bit of funds to do research. We came to the market with a product that we thought was good because we had spoken to friends and families and close people, and they said it was fine. Can never forget. 2 years ago, it was on my birthday. I and the team were in Okearin Market to do activation, right? This was 18th of May 2020. I can never forget that day. I was so excited. The dancers that were doing, I joined them, I was dancing, there was a video. People just came, they take the pack, they press it because we had our baby food in Ziploc bags. And they say, there's nothing inside here. The samples that we did for people to test, the small sachets, it was not even for sale. That was what people were buying. This one, how much? 100 naira, they took it. What we were selling for 800 naira, nobody bought anything. I kid you not. We did the activation for 3 days. I know how much we spent. We didn't sell nada. But we learned one thing from that activation, that people wanted single serving. So we went back, we talked to some distributors and all, and they said, you know what, baby food, you don't do it in sachet, because we wanted to be different. I come from a marketing background, and standing out helps you. So we went and took that same design, we made it into carton. It was white, design and everything. We took it to the market again. Struggle. For where? People rejected it. They said white for baby food. They didn't accept it. We went back and made it yellow. Based on feedback from distributors. This is the third iteration. This thing I'm talking is between 2020 and now. It went there and they said that, so what we were making then, baby food can be instant and you can prepare it like pap. So what we're making then was being prepared by pap, like pap. What we wanted was instant. And one of the government funding agencies had promised us that they were going to give us finance, right? That they were going to finance our business. So we just said, let's even start with the one that we can do, which is the Ogi. So that was why we went into market, so that at least while we wait for that funding, we don't see until the money comes before we start. This was in May. By December, we realized that government agency wasn't going to give us money, so we were on our own. The machine that would make that whole instance, the main machine that we had seen that we wanted, was 100 million naira. We didn't have that money. This is us. We are putting money into baby food. We were in the market. People were rejecting. Some distributors that came for our factory launch had started returning the products. They said they don't want again. We should refund their money. Financial institutions were on our neck to pay them money. We were in our third packaging, and the product wasn't moving. So, and last year, another challenge that we had at that time was, so let me not even go to the challenge, I'll speak on it in the future, but all this while, we started finding out what the customer wanted. We had known the price that they wanted to pay for it. We knew the kind of packaging that they wanted. The only challenge now was the texture, the way it was prepared. So one day on Sunday, my business is between my wife and I. I do the marketing part while she runs the factory. On a Saturday like this, I was in the factory with her, and we looked at the machine from China. We looked at the entire process and saw that, broke it down into processes and saw that out of the local machines we had, it was just one process that we couldn't achieve with what we had. Now, we now took that process, went online to look for a small machine that could do it. We searched and then found something. We saw it online. This was January this year. The moment we saw it, I said, babe, come and see. This thing can do this thing. She said, yeah, so how do we get it? Immediately, I reached my contact in China. She said, yeah, this thing does this stuff that you're asking for. I said, okay, how do we place an order? She said, Chinese holiday. This was when China was going on holiday. So we had to wait for 2 weeks. By the time the 2 weeks was over, we paid. We couldn't even wait for the product for the machine to come by sea. We flew it. It landed in Nigeria. We fixed it in the factory. The first time we tried it, the generator we had just exploded because the power of the motor was very, very high. We tried 2 other generators. The last generator we had to lease, and then it worked. When it started working, when the product started coming out, we were shouting at the factory workers, don't eat it because it was so delicious. Then we blended it, we took it to the market. Some distributors came and said, now I want to do business. Today, we have extruded baby food at a fraction, so we don't even need the government funding agency anymore. This is the first month that we've done 4 weeks, and we have a distributor from the north that has agreed that they are going to take the whole north. In fact, the person has gotten, yesterday they were sending me a jingle that they are done with an influencer in the north. They want the product for the whole north. Imagine if we had waited for the government agency before we bought that machine. Imagine if we had not started. Imagine if we didn't go through all these mistakes to learn. Making mistakes is not the problem. It's if you are not learning from it. The only way you can get product market fit, and you cannot scale a business if you don't, what product market fit is that you have a product that the customer wants, you know the customer that wants it, at the price that they want, such that as you are producing, before you finish producing, the products have been bought. That's what makes Tesla a valuable company today. Not because they've made more cars than Toyota, but Tesla has more than $1 billion in pre-order. That's what makes Apple that profitable, because before they have produced, people are already pre-ordering. That is what you call product market fit. And the only way you can get that is by starting, making mistakes, learning and adjusting to what the customer wants, until you get to that point where the day that you don't produce, people will start fighting you. Our blood pressure T is in its 6th year. There are people that call, 2 days ago, a friend of mine was traveling to Canada to see his sister. He came and he brought 2 cartons, because that is what the sister takes. She doesn't want Gary or anything from Nigeria, just that blood pressure tea. But it took us years to refine to get to that point where customers are rushing it. And even after we got the perfect product, the pricing was not right. In fact, we are only trying to adjust the price now so that we can get that product market fit. You must, if you want to have a business that will scale, that will shatter barriers, you must start, you must make mistakes, learn from your mistakes, adjust based on what the customer is asking until you get that product market fit. Next slide. Now, once you have that product market fit, so you know the customers that you're targeting, you know how to put your products properly, you need to now create a process around everything that makes money for you. That is what makes you different from self-employed to running a company. I'm not saying that you cannot break ceilings and make a lot of money as a self-employed, but it's going to be very difficult, and it's impossible for you to do that if you don't increase your value per hour. So the people that really make money with their time tied to their productivity are people that, maybe neurosurgeons, that for them to attend to you for an hour, they bill you very high, right? You must be a highly skilled professional that is scarce. You must be providing a service that is scarce. You cannot be doing makeup and say that you want to come and charge 1 million naira per hour when makeup artists are everywhere. and you've not made the name. But you can put a system around producing makeup kits and produce 1 million makeup kits, and you are sleeping and they are selling in stores. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why I am more focused on people setting up companies. So, but for you to be able to set up a company that you produce or a product or service in the volumes that will get you the kind of money that you will say that you have broken ceilings and you've shattered ceilings, you need to put a system in place. There's no way you can do it alone. If you are making, let's say you are making soap, or you are even doing branding for somebody, there's only as much work that you can do in 1 hour. But if you have a team that is running the entire process, and in a case like ours, you now have machines that are producing, that you can produce volumes and sell, it is easier for you to get to that stage. And the key to being able to scale at that point is for you to have a system that works even while you are not there. So I would use my company for instance. We have a farm. There are people that run the farm. Imagine if I had to be at the farm, I won't even be able to be. As I speak with you, they are producing in the factory. As I'm here with you, I'm sure if I check my phone, I would see one alert or the other from one of the Health Plus or Med Plus that they've bought a product. You understand? Assuming, just think about it, if I was the one that had to be at the farm to harvest, and then I have to be at the factory, I'll probably be looking 10 times older than I am now, because the stress will be that much. And I will not be able to achieve the volume that I'm achieving. The problem we have in this part of the world is that people, you know, because there's so much distrust, people want to do everything themselves. I don't want to trust anybody. But you need to open up. You need to open up. If you really want to grow, accept that people are going to dupe you. Learn from the process, put systems in place to mitigate it. You need to think systems. I don't know if it was this year or last year, there was a story on social media about the richest black man in Africa that, you know, there were pictures of him and his partner, and people were all over the internet, well, you know, because she came out and talked about how he has impacted her life and everything, and people were all over the internet. I was looking at what people were saying. Now, this girl, she's dating the richest black man. Why is it this girl that is dating her now? But they didn't listen to what she said. She said that, you know, he helped her to, she didn't get much money from him, but he taught her how to grow from $1 million, from hundreds of millions to something like that. And there was one thing she said, that he kept on hammering the point that if you want to really do big business, you must focus on systems. Systems. You cannot grow a big business if you want to do everything on your own. Big businesses are built on systems. Everything in this world is built on systems. You as a human being, you have your respiratory system, you have your reproductive system, you have your transportation system, there's the skeletal system, there's the nervous system. There are so many systems that work together to make you whole. So you can never build something big if you don't put systems in. So let me not say never, but you can hardly build something very big if you don't build it on systems. Am I communicating? Okay, let's move to. Now, once you have put that system in place, see the logic that I'm following. First, you start. Make sure that what you are doing is profitable. Then the third is, what was the third one? So, sorry? Okay, get your product market fit. Make sure that you've gotten that product market fit. Then you put a system in place. Product market fit means that people are willing to buy it. You've gotten to that point. A system makes it possible for you to deliver to people when they start coming in large quantities. Then you can go and make, I'm not saying that you cannot advertise when you are growing, but you can now go all out and make noise. Why? Because you know that what you have gotten, people are not going to come and reject it. Once they buy and go too. Then you know that you have a system to deliver if 1 million people come and ask for your product. That is when you start to go and make insane noise and open up new markets. Sometimes people haven't gotten that product market fit. They've not put a system to handle volumes of transactions or volumes of business, and they go and make noise. then you see that, oh, everybody's talking about this people, and then before you know anything, they crashed. Because there's no system in place to handle that volume of transaction. It happens a lot. It's like putting the cart before the horse. There's a time to grind and there's a time to shine, right? You need to understand there's a time to grind and there's a time to shine. You grind first before you start shining. Before you start making noise, make sure that your house is in order. Because it's easier for you to start organically and grow than for you to just start from the top and crash. It's more difficult to come back up. So, like I said at the beginning, there are so many resources on the internet on how to grow a business and break barriers.